Hey everybody, this is Sherry with CPR, Craft, Pray, Repeat, and I'm here today with a project for Honeybunnies Treasures, and I called it my Appreciation Candy Bar. And what I used is this KI Memories sentiment stamp set that she carries at Honeybunnies Treasures at the store, and I'll make sure I put a link. I'm using my Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and I just put a piece of paper down and I'm stamping this to make this my own background paper. And I loved the sentiments on this stamp set because, it's got hello and hi and all that, but it's got you rock, which I think is really cool. Thanks, miss you, for you, thank you, good friends. I mean, you can really make this background paper your own, excuse me, and have it say anything you want. Now, I will tell you, when I do this the next time, I will just be using a large stamp block because I don't know what my problem was. I'm sure there's a way to do it, but my brain could not figure it out. And maybe I just needed to move my stamps down lower on the acrylic piece or something, but I couldn't figure it out, and I struggled with it. But I know I've seen other people do it, so I know there's got to be a way. But for me, if I can't figure it out, then I'll just do it on a stamp block because I really like how it looked. And if I do it on a stamp block, it'll be a little easier for me to position, any way I want, because I didn't want the edges to be straight, so I made everything kind of cattywampus. And so if I use a block of my own, then I can bring it in closer where I was afraid to do that because of the way the paper was laying and all that stuff. But I enjoy doing this, and it makes it, because the letters are excuse me, because the letters are open, you're able to color it any color you want, so it can match. If somebody has a favorite color or whatever, you're able to make it to match them. And what I'm doing is I'm wrapping an Oreo candy bar. And here I'm like, oh, I'm mad as all good out. I'm thinking, I took my tape. And so now I had to use these glue dots to glue my, edges down here on the edge of my candy bar, because I always fold them up so they're out of the way. And I look over to my right. I mean, this is pitiful. I'm a bad mama. There it is. Because I looked over to my right, and here I'd already moved it over so I could grab a hold of it. And there I was blaming my poor baby. My poor innocent baby, who we all know never does anything wrong. And I blamed her. And I had to, say I was sorry, even though she didn't know why I was sorry. But I was so mad at myself. I hate when I do goofy stuff like that. So this is going to our police chief for Jesse to give to him, because he's so good to Jesse, and they're just so kind to him. And the score tape here that I'm using is the 1/8 inch, and it is also carried at Honeybunnies Treasures. Now, I don't know how other people wrap their candy bars when they do this, but this is how I do mine on all four sides, because I don't want to risk that thing coming apart and not looking as nice when it gets to the recipient. And I picked a bigger than, it's not the regular size candy bar, and I attached it to the actual candy bar, which normally I don't. But I was having trouble, I don't know, I think the paper was just too stiff, and I didn't have anything thin enough that would have been easier to work with. So now I'm going to get my crimper out, and I've had this thing forever, and I love it because it crimps the ends. It makes it look like it was professionally done, just like you would if you bought the candy bar in the store. And so I go ahead and I crimp the ends, and then I get my paper back out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use B37, and I'm going to color in the words. And because it's for a police officer, and my brain goes to back the blue. We back the blue, so I did it in blue. And I'm sure that was just so witty that nobody will catch that I did that. No, please. I'm sure they get sick and tired of seeing blue. That was where I went, and that's what I went with it. And so I ended up cutting this down to 2 5/8 by 6. Now, I'm giving you the dimensions for mine, but you saw, you don't, my candy bar is a bigger size. And if you're going to do, you didn't need to measure. I know how to measure the candy bars, but why put yourself through trying to figure out how to measure it when you can just kind of wrap the paper around and then mark it? And then if you're going to do a bunch, then I'd say, okay, well, this is how big I need. And then I'd cut them all that length. But, you don't have to be any math whiz, excuse me, guys, to figure out, what size you need your paper. And you always, you leave as much as you want on the sides. I knew I was going to crimp mine, so I wanted to, have that extra on the side there so that I had the ability to do that. And I could have crimped it and then even trimmed it down if I wanted to, but I thought it was just, in my opinion, it was just perfect. I liked it, and I hope that the chief liked it. I just, these people are so good with Jesse, and they're so kind to him, and I just, I really, really, really don't ever want anybody to think that I'm taking them for granted. And so I really want people to know I appreciate what they do. And, the chief doesn't have to have Jesse there. So it means a lot to me that he's willing to do that and willing to allow Jesse to be, a big part of the community. And we can't go anywhere. It's like going somewhere with a rock star because everybody knows him. And so he enjoys it. So then I'm just going to finish coloring this up. And I apologize, I have no pictures for the end. But I sent the candy bar to work already with Jesse to give to the chief. And I just get my ATG gun out and put some tape on the back and then line it up on the front, and I call it done. Remember to practice your CPR, folks. Craft, pray, repeat. Thanks for visiting me today, and happy crafting. Bye.